Welcome to the Future Take series, where we ask people for their view on achieving a more reconciled island of Ireland in the years ahead. Today, I'm joined by a woman who has travelled from Cork to Dublin to Papua New Guinea to London to New York. She's worked in the newsrooms of RTE, BBC, CNN, and she is now editor-in-chief at Glamour magazine in New York. Absolutely delighted to have Samantha Barry with us on Future Takes. How important for you is storytelling to who you are, to what you do, and to what you've done?
It's just the heart of who I am. It's in every job that I've been in. I think for some people, they can feel like very different jobs, right? Like working in radio in Papua New Guinea for the ABC, or running social media at CNN, or now being editor in chief of this women's title in the US. It's a badge of honor to be a storyteller and wear that with pride.
I know you're a huge fan of Derry Girls
Yeah.
and the storytelling of Lisa McGee in that particular series. What was it about how Lisa went about giving us that story and telling us that story that spoke particularly to you?
I grew up, I was the exact same age as the Derry Girls when this was happening, but I was growing up in Cork, in Ballincollig. So there's parts of that story that really resonate with me. The leather jackets, the music, the Take Back concert. And there's parts of the story that she told that was not my life experience. It's what those girls went through in Derry, but I had an in because I loved Fatboy Slim and Take That. And she's so smart in her storytelling. And I really do think Lisa is this example of how it can bridge a divide of people. You may have a different experience, but you can find a commonality.
How important is it that you listen to, not you, Samantha, one, that we all listen to and encourage uh, the hearing of stories that perhaps were uncomfortable with some of the opinions that are expressed within it, or the ideas that that set of stories might express, where our political, our social conscience, our political opinions will differ totally from the
Mhm.
person who's telling the story.
It's not easy, but it absolutely should happen. It's a practice that everybody should be involved in. It's one that I do myself. I could live in my silo of my beliefs, but I search out what's happening on Fox News or the Drudge Report or whatever it is, right? Like we have to be smart. There's a couple of ways, right? There's the media literacy, right? You can't live in your bubble, in your algorithm, and expect that you get the full flavor of people's opinions. So I highly recommend that people, even if they don't agree with the, if it's a newspaper in the UK, maybe you're not a Telegraph reader, or but you should maybe read the Telegraph every now and again and see what they're saying. Maybe you're not a BBC person, but maybe you should turn it on every now and again. Opening up yourself to that, and then the IRL version of that, in real life, like sitting across the table from somebody and feeling like it is okay for them to have a different opinion from you. It is okay to listen. It is okay to um, and there has to be two people in it or a group in it where like it has to feel non-combative, and it has to feel like a safe place to share without judgment. And I think we don't do enough of it. I feel like in the US we're extremely politically divided at the moment, and we see that even on, particularly on college campuses, where we just did a story where young conservatives and young liberals like are not talking to each other at all on college campuses, and are very divided in their friendship groups. Generation dissatisfied, we called it. I think we've lost the art of that. We need to get back to being in the same room, having difficult conversations, uncomfortable conversations, but having them all the same.
Have you seen, storytelling actually, a very specific example, if you could give us, or a very specific situation where you saw the type of storytelling that you're talking about breaking down barriers?
I remember when I had moved to the States, and Ireland had gone through was going through the gay marriage referendum. And I think there was either an ad or a piece on radio where it was like, call your parents or grandparents. It was something that it was encouraging cross-generational conversation around this referendum. And I remember having a conversation with my dad that probably he would have leaned more on the side of no, right? I don't want to make assumptions, but that's the presumption I had from this phone call. But we had the phone call, and I talked to him about what I felt about the gay marriage referendum. And then I talked to him in particular about the people that my friends that had walked into our house that he loved, and explained that yes, while he may have grew up in Ireland that sanctioned that marriage was between a man and a woman, that there was people that sat around our kitchen table that have boyfriends and girlfriends and would like to marry them and currently can't. And I think that was a real great conversation for us to have. And it felt like, I don't know, it felt just like really, now there was no competitiveness. My father, like, we were going into a very nice, friendly conversation. We should be having more of them. And we should be having more of them when you disagree with people. And again, for me, it came back to the person, the story I wanted to tell. I didn't want to do a sweeping, like, you should vote yes in the referendum because LGBTQ rights. I was like, I want to talk to you about the people that you know that have sat around our kitchen table and what this vote means to them. And I think that was an important part of the conversation.
What can a digital story do that perhaps, what are its advantages over a more traditional style?
I think one of the things that's nice in the storytelling that's happening out in the world of social at the moment is it's not a passive conversation. You stitch, you use the audio, you're part of the conversation, you're commenting, you're included. And so I think that is really an important part. And when we talk about storytelling at Glamour, we're really leaning into like that world of community of storytelling, right? Where it's not just us creating content and putting it out into the world and then forgetting about it. It's like, what is the cycle of conversation that happens around it? Whether that be, we've done a lot around IVF in the US this year, and like, how are we opening the conversation for people to share their stories? If we're doing reporting from Alabama on IVF and women want to share their stories, where's the community that we're creating for that to happen? So I think, yeah, be very open to micro storytelling, sounds, audio. Where can you have comments or engage community in a really powerful way?
How do we get them involved in the storytelling and in that post Good Friday generation, the Gen Z?
You got to get them in the room. You got to invite them. They want an invitation. Like, they want to be there. We've got to open the door and open them with open arms. We've got to listen to them. We've got to take their experimental ideas that might sound crazy to somebody that's never been on TikTok or never done a vertical video. We've got to be open and curious and ready to experiment.
Finally, Samantha Barry, the question we've been putting to everybody as part of the Future Take series: for a more reconciled island of Ireland, regardless of how that island is constituted, what do we need to give, and what are the potential gains in the years ahead?
I think we just need to give more into storytelling. We need to be more curious. We need to be more open to hearing different points of view. I fear that we live in the world of algorithms telling us what our opinions should be, in siloing us, in making our worldview more narrow, and in as we consume more and more on our phones and social platforms. If you're not intentional, I fear you become just constantly reinforced with your current view and not learning and more.
And hopes?
Oh my God, I hope everything. I hope that generation, the post Good Friday agreement generation, like, just show us the way and show us the future of Ireland. And I think that generation that are just now coming into adulthood post Good Friday agreement, I'm just really excited to see what they do.